The Department of Veterans Affairs wants all eligible service members to know about the federal home loan programs available to them. The current options are helping veterans to buy homes or assisting those who may be struggling financially during this pandemic. Jeffrey London is the executive director of VA Home Loans. He's joining us now to talk about what military service members should know about either buying a home or trying to stay in their existing homes. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate it.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
So let's first start talking about the climate out there. Obviously, inventory is historically low. Home prices are the highest we've seen ever. And this can be really challenging, especially for people seeking a VA loan when they're trying to buy a new home.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. And actually, California is our #1 state for VA home loans. And there are plenty of veterans there in the Sacramento area that are taking advantage of the home loan benefit. Despite the low inventory, we actually are experiencing a record year for purchase loans. And so veterans are taking advantage of the program because there's no down payment required. The VA has the lowest interest rates of any loan product in the entire industry. There's low closing costs. There's no mortgage insurance, which can save upwards of $300 or more each month. So the VA home loan benefit is the best option, bar none. So despite the current climate, many veterans and service members are taking advantage of their earned benefit.
No doubt it's a great benefit, but aren't a lot of these VA home loans or the applicants getting beat out by cash offers in this crazy market?
Yeah, unfortunately, the market is crazy where there are buyers, as you're saying, that are offering cash deals where they don't have to go through the appraisal or the home inspection process. But what I've really encouraged veterans to do, and I actually see this happening, including there in California, is to ensure that the real estate agent is telling the veteran story. And I actually encourage sellers and other real estate agents to actually look at selling their home to a veteran and service member, because that's a way that they can actually honor our service members and veterans for the service to our nation. So I see a lot of sellers are actually, despite their crazy market, are actually selling their homes to veterans because they want to honor their service.
You know, anecdotally, I have a buddy who's in real estate. He's an agent. He specializes in getting VA loans, those deals done for veterans, but he has to get pretty creative. When you're talking about a veteran who's trying to use their VA benefit to get a home, do they need to be pretty selective about the agent that they hire?
Yeah, I think that's a great point, Ty. I think one of the things that you have to do is get a real estate agent and a lender that you trust, that you believe will do the right thing by you. So like you said, there are individuals who specialize in the VA home loan product, and they can actually make those salient points to the sellers to help the veteran even win a crazy bid in this very competitive market. So I agree with you that looking for a lender and real estate agent that you trust that knows the VA home loan process will definitely help that veteran get the home of his or her dreams.
Okay, and Jeffrey, what can you tell us about VA veterans that may be in forbearance right now? They may be in danger of losing their home. How can the VA help them with that?
Yeah, there's great news on that front. We have 2 programs available. First, for loans that are in forbearance. When the veteran is ready to start making payments again on their mortgage payment, they don't have to worry about the financial burden of paying back that money right away. VA will actually make the missed payments on the veteran's behalf, and the veteran will not have to pay VA back until they either sell the home or refinance the loan. And so that program is available at 0% interest. So I certainly encourage veterans to look at that. The second program is that if a veteran is experiencing continued financial difficulty where they need a lower monthly payment, VA can actually work with the mortgage company to reduce the unpaid principal balance of the loan to target a 20% reduction in the monthly mortgage payment. And similar to the first program, they do not have to worry about paying VA back until they sell the home or refinance the loan, and that program is also available at 0% interest.
Wow, those are some incredible benefits. Where should we go? Where should veterans go for more information? You got a website for us?
Absolutely. They can go to va.gov and look for housing assistance, or they can call VA directly at 877-827-3702.
All right, Jeffrey London, thanks so much with VA Home Loans. We appreciate it. 7:51, live look at Fairfield, and we'll get a final check on weather and traffic when we come back. Don't go away.